I'm a fisherman. Been working off a Norwegian coast for years, up in Lofoten, where the continental shelf drops down from 200 meters to 2,000 meters, right off the islands, and straight into the abyss. The water can be treacherous. These days, fishermen only rarely die, but back in the day, pretty much every family had a tragedy of their own. Some had many, and all had stories about the things that are out there. We don't believe the stories anymore. Of course not. We're rational. We're modern. We rely on sonars and radars and weather forecasts, not old wise tales. But when you're out there, out in the open ocean, surrounded only by dark waves and howling winds, sometimes things are a bit different. And sometimes you see things. So having said that, here's my story. We'd been on the open ocean for days, searching for herring. The silver of the ocean, as we like to call it up here. Although it didn't pay like silver, that's for sure. We hadn't found much this time. We'd been using the sonar all the way from Norway, seeing the depth meter increase until it stopped measuring at 600 meters in. The GPS could inform us that at our current location, the depth should be around 2,000 meters. We were a bit further out than usual. We tended to fish on the edge of the continental shelf, right where the ocean floor dropped away below you. It was starting to look like another dud day. Actually, it was looking particularly dud. Usually we would get something, some fish. But today, no blips on the sonar. No fish at all. I stared out over the ocean. The sky was overcast. The wind was quiet. But the ocean waves still rolled relentlessly onward. Round, lazy, like giant, sleek caterpillars rolling across the ocean surface. The boredom could be vicious on these ships. The rest of the crew were below deck. Only the new kid was up with me, manning the rudder. Nothing to see, nothing to do, except stare at the waves like my father, like his father before him, and so on. Every once in a while, I still stopped to consider the immense depths below me, all the things that could be hidden in the deep, in the dark. When I was a child, I was terrified that a Russian submarine would breach next to me, or maybe a giant whale, or something worse, maybe something I couldn't even imagine. But there are fewer Russian submarines these days, and I'm a lot less scared of the depths. I was a lot less scared of the depths. Hey, boss. The kid I had put at the rudder was waving at me from the bridge. Boss, come look at this. I crossed the deck and climbed up to him. What? Boss, there's something. He broke off, pointing to the sonar screen. Something weird. I looked at the sonar screen. I frowned. The depth reader said that we were sitting at 300 meters. What the hell? I muttered. Did you fiddle with it? I added in a stern tone. It was the new kid, after all. He said he knew how to use the equipment, but I wasn't sure I trusted him yet. Fiddle with it? No, I just use it like you're supposed to, boss. Well, how do you explain that the depth reader says we're sitting at 300 meters when we both know damn well that we're over an abyss of 2,000 meters at least? I don't know. You don't know. But I know, because you fiddled with it. That's why. No, boss, I swear I didn't. He looked terrified. I fought the urge to smile. I couldn't help myself with the new kids. I just had to play the gruff old fisherman. But in my defense, I was also fairly sure this kid had done something stupid. If he'd messed up the sonar, then we would be sitting blind out here. Might as well go home right away. Not worth the gas to sail around with nothing but your gut telling you where the fish are. Boss? I grunted. Something's happening. He sounded terrified. He should be. I'd tear him a new one once I figured out just how he'd ruined our chance of a catch. I looked at the screen. The depth was decreasing. It was at 250 meters now, and ticking slowly down. What the hell? I racked my brain for anything the kid could have done that would have made the sonar malfunction like that, but nothing came to mind. Boss? The kid asked tentatively. Do you think it's like a giant whale or something? 200 meters. Nah, whales don't like sonar. Whatever the hell that is, it ain't no whale. I kept my voice steady. Didn't want to worry the kid. 150 meters. We going back towards land? The kid asked hopefully. Nah. I glanced at the GPS, part of me hoping that the kid had accidentally set the ship going full steam, back towards land. As if I wouldn't have noticed. But we weren't moving. Depth at current location? Around 2,000 meters. 100 meters. 75 meters. 50. I swallowed. What the hell could be big enough that the sonar picked it up as the ocean floor? 40. 30. 20. 10. 5. But the kid started. The boat lurched forward. I braced myself against the wall. The kid was too slow and smashed against it. His eyebrows split open. Blood streaming down his face. Then another lurch. This time he caught himself. He looked over at me with fear written all over his face. What the hell? I muttered. What the bloody hell? The stern smashed back down into the water, sending waves outwards in every direction. I looked back at the sonar. Nothing. Just black. I hit the side of the screen, and still nothing. Of course. I looked at the kid, and he looked like he'd seen a ghost. Boss? He said quietly. What the hell was that? I have no damn clue, I said in a low voice. No clue. The sonar was gone. One of the guys aboard, who had slightly more technical capabilities than me, tried fixing it, but to no avail. Seemed like the part that sent the actual sounds out of it was just gone. We headed back for land. Like I said, no point in wasting gas out here if the sonar was out. And frankly, I didn't want to stay out in that spot for another minute if I could avoid it. Once we were safely docked, we checked out the whole boat. It was fine mostly, except the underside was covered in strange scratches. Mind you, I've been fishing since I was 14. I've never seen anything like that. It looked like a giant bear had clawed all over the hole. No, not a bear. The marks were too irregular. I had no idea what made those marks. Nothing that lives off the coast of Norway could make those marks. Nothing I knew of. Stranger still, the sonar equipment was gone. Ripped out. It looked like someone had just grabbed onto it and yanked it. Something big. We replaced the sonar. We didn't talk much about what happened that day, but we never went as far out over the shelf again. The kid went into a different line of work, and I don't blame him. I've thought a lot about what happened that day, and I still don't know the answer. I don't think I ever will. I don't think I want to. What I do know is that sonar disturbs the waters. The sounds that go out are heard by some of the most massive sea animals. It scares off whales. It messes with the balance and orientation of squids. Someone once told me that sonar is to whales like blasting AC/DC is to the elderly at an old folks' home. And humans have been out there blasting AC/DC for a generation. Let me tell you what I think. I think we woke something up. Something that got pissed off. Something that decided to rip out the cords to the boombox, so to speak. Light enough to let us off with a warning. Something that might be less forgiving the next time it's woken up from its slumber.